what is one of the big stories of the day today? There's a lot.
ISIS.
Very nice. Well, what happened? Airstrike. That's right. So how did you find that out?
I think it's
It was Twitter. It was Twitter. Okay, that's. I would. You know, and it always depends on who your audience is. What I find to be the #1 story of the day may not be yours or someone else's. So now you're seeing a lot of these aggregate news operations like the Huffington Post or BuzzFeed, where they tailor news almost to what you would like or you would be interested in. So it just depends. But for the most part, I would say probably this Syria, the U.S. beginning airstrikes in Syria, causing some damage and destroying about 20 different facilities. That's probably your #1 story today. Locally, here in Chicago, what do you think is the #1 story? This is a trick question, by the way. What? Homicides? I would say no. I would disagree. Some people might disagree with me, but...
The Bears.
Good job. Yeah, I would say the Bears. Yeah. I would say the Bears is probably... Especially this morning. Did you guys watch the game?
Yeah.
The Bears win. And here's the reason, just to give you a little insight into the news. Yeah. So the reason why the Bears is probably, I would say, your lead story this morning, at least this morning. I've been out and about and haven't seen what's happened in the last few hours, but you know, especially in TV news, you try to pick a story that will appeal to the largest group of people, to the most people, that people will be talking about. Kind of the water cooler stories. You heard of this, where people gather at the water cooler and they're talking about something. And that's certainly something that we can all connect to, is the Bears. Right? Anybody can talk about football and the Bears. So I think that's why that would be the #1 story. And everybody's been paying attention to what happens in Syria, so you try to make your top story something that everyone can relate to, even if it's in some small way. ¿Quieres que te hable en español? Dijo una mala palabra. Sí, sí. ¿Me perdiste? No sabe. No entiende, no entiende. All right, any other ones?
What's the hardest part about being in TV?
The hardest part about being in TV. Well, right now the hardest part is getting up at 2 in the morning. Yeah. And, you know, news is 24 hours a day, so your chances are that if you're working in TV news, you're probably working a weird shift. So for years I worked the 2 to 10, 2 to midnight shift, because I would do the 5 p.m. news and then the 9 or 10 o'clock news. That shift, it really isn't any better either, because you don't have a social life. You know, you're always at work at night when your friends get off work and maybe they want to go out to dinner, so you can't ever do anything. And then when you're off, everybody's at work. So there is no win, really. Now, at least, doing the morning show, it stinks to get up that early, but let's suppose I wanted to get dinner with a girlfriend of mine, or I wanted to do something at night. I'm going to forego some sleep, but I can do it. So that's, you know, it's going to mean staying up all night probably, or only getting a couple hours of sleep, but at least I can go and do something. Okay, he wants to know what story I'm going to report on next. So the way it works is I anchor the morning news, and then I'm also one of the lead investigative reporters for the station. So I don't do day-to-day news, so I don't go out and cover shootings or fires or stuff like that. I cover more like special projects. So now I've got a story that I'll be working on in the next couple of weeks that hopefully it'll come to. It's on nursing homes and some of the staffing levels at nursing homes and federal dollars that they're getting and how and why they're getting some of this money. So, you know, those are longer term stories, so they'll take maybe a few weeks, maybe even a month to put them together. So I'm doing story, and I just shot some of it today on this gentleman by the name of Robert Renteria. Have you guys heard of him? He just wrote this book, probably about 5 years ago. It's called From the Barrio to the Boardroom. Do you know what a barrio is? Which is like a neighborhood. And he used to be a gang member for years growing up. Just grew up very poor, struggled a lot, and he was able to overcome that and became, you know, the owner of his company. Now is, you know, a major executive, is trying to spread the word about how to overcome some of these obstacles, and he's written a book, and he's going around to schools talking about the book and kind of how to stay on the right path and how you can help. So we're doing a story on him, and that'll air on Friday, so I'll write that tomorrow. So that's another one I'm working on. He's a pretty cool guy. It's kind of interesting to see how people can go from nothing to, you know, such great wealth and power.